Hello learners, today we'll be seeing Introduction to DBMS, that is Database Management System. In this we'll be looking Introduction, what is database, database management system and different uses of the database. In computerized information system, data is the basic resource of organization. So proper organization of management for the data is required to run organization smoothly. DBMS deals with the knowledge of how data is stored and managed on the computerized information system. In any organization, it requires accurate and reliable data for better decision making, ensuring privacy of data and controlling data efficiently. Now we will see what is data. Data is any fact that can be recorded and have implicit meaning. It can be represented in alphabets from A to Z, digits 0 to 9 using different special characters. So data can be in the form of text, numbers, images, audio, speech, video, etc. If we take an example, the data is considered 25 and Arun. So this is just a data. If we talk about information, information is a meaningful data. A raw data which has some meaning is nothing but information. Processed data on which the decision and actions are based. For example, the age of Arun is 25. Previously we have taken example of data that is only Arun and 25. But did that had a meaning? No. Now here this particular sentence had the meaning. So we can say this is nothing but the information. The information is that the age of Arun is 25. Let's move on to next topic, that is database. Now what do you mean by database? A database is a place to store related data in an organized form so that data can be easily accessed, managed and updated. Note, if the size of database is huge, then it will be known as data warehouse. Consider an example that you have a past 100 years data. So this data will be considered as historical data and will be stored in data warehouse and not a database. Now we'll see types of database, characteristics and application one by one. Let's talk about types of database. Here I have categorized in 4. First is traditional database, then we have multimedia database, geographic information system, real-time system. Let's start with traditional database. Traditional database is nothing but a simple combination of text and numbers. Then we have multimedia system. Multimedia system consists of videos, audio or speech and movies. Then we have geographic information system. These photos, or it is a collection of photos that are taken by rockets, satellites from space. These type of images are mainly taken or used by NASA. Then we have real-time database which is used in production. For example, if I consider a store or a supermarket, then this will be used for tracking of goods. Next, move to characteristics. Now, each and every database has some characteristics. First is self-describing nature, because it not only contains the database itself but also metadata which defines and describes the data and the relationship between tables in the database. Next, we have enforcement of integrity constraints. When we talk about integrity constraints, a database constraint is a restriction or rule that indicates what can be entered or edited in the table, such as if I say a postal code using a certain format or adding a valid city in the city field. So there are different types of database constraints. Next, we have restriction of unauthorized access. Not all the users in the database system will be having the same access privileges. For example, one user might have only read access, while another might have read and write privileges, which is the ability to both read and modify a file. Next, we have sharing of data and multi-user system. Sharing and multi-user system, this type of current are used for current database systems. They allow many users to access the same database at the same time. This access is achieved through a feature called as concurrency control strategies. These strategies ensure that the data access are always correct and the data integrity is maintained. Next, we have control of data redundancy. In this, the redundancy will be minimized or it can be completely or reduced. Lastly, we have characteristic as backup and recovery facilities. These methods allow the user to protect his or her data from loss. The database system provides a separate process from the network backup for backing up and recovering the data. If the data drive fails and the database stored on the hard drive is not accessible, the only way to recover the database is from the backup. Next, we'll move to applications. What are the different applications of databases? Where this is actually been used? It has been used in several areas. Here I have categorized some of them. First, we have in the bank, then airlines, universities, manufacturing, online transactions, HR, human resources, and in industries or factories. So these are few examples where database application is used. Now we have all seen what is database, but for this database, for managing everything will require a system. So we see database management system, that is also known as DBMS. DBMS consists of related data and refers to the set of programs for defining, creation, maintenance and manipulation of the data. DBMS considers basically interrelated data, set of programs and the environment. Here we'll see types of DBMS. The database can be centralized, distributed, cloud, relational, network, object-oriented or hierarchical. So based on these different types of DBMS systems, the user can access or create his own unused. Then we have advantages of DBMS. So what was the requirement for the DBMS to occur if we already had a file flat system? Easy to access data, no redundant data, data consistency and integrity is maintained. Data is more secure as compared to flat file system in the database. Also, the privacy is maintained at a high level. Recovery is very easy and it is very flexible to use. Next, we'll see what are the different uses of database. So, when we talk about uses of database, a typical DBMS has users with different rights and permission who use it for different purposes. Some users retrieve the data and some back it up. But the users of the database here have categorized broadly in three. Those are database administrator, end users and designers. When I come to database administrator, they maintain the DBMS and are responsible for administrating the database. They are also responsible to look after its usage and by whom it should be used. They create the access profile for the user and apply limitation to maintain isolation and enforce security. Administrators also look after database resources like system license, required tools, and other software and hardware related maintenance. Next, when we come to end users, these are the users who actually reap the benefits of having DBMS. They use the data for queries, reports, and some of them update the database contents. Again, end users can be categorized in many ways based on the usage. If I say, again, end users have been classified into 4. Some of them who usually use database occasionally. Some are who are using on day-to-day basis like bank tailors or reservation clerks. Then we have the users who are business analysts, scientists, engineers, and lastly we have those who are using database for their personal use. Lastly, we have designers. So designers are the group of people who actually work on designing part of the database. They keep a close watch what data should be kept and in what format. They identify and design the whole set of entries, relations, constraints, and views. So these were the users of database which are involved in the whole process. That's all for today. Stay tuned for the next lectures.